Greetings, my friends and fellow marsupials. Here we are at the Happy Haven Funny Farm. We're going to make a little bit of a showing as to what's happening. Hope the wind don't get us. But we've had a visit from the tree surgeon. This is kind of like the surgeons that I get a hold of. And we've got this limb that was going to go over the top of the trailer house. We got it trimmed down pretty good. And there's some ferns if somebody wants them, tree ferns. And limbs look a lot smaller when they're in the air than when they're on the ground. But he trimmed this stuff off good, and we got the meter loop and the pole stuck in the air, and it's hooked up to the world. And money is twirling around that thing. Wonder if it's still twirling. Well, I don't know if it's twirling or not anyway. And my handiwork was just good enough. They hooked it up. So there that is. We're going to get the pad built a little bit higher. Has to come up another 2 foot there and a foot or two there to make the pad level for the trailer house. And then they're going to pour concrete something or others and set the house on it. So that's what that'll be. It'll be a wonderful thing. So that's the way it is. It's so hot and humid that I remember back when I was a kid, a little bit I can remember, none of us wore shoes, of course. We had shoes, we just didn't wear them. And what was really cool is we used to play cars, us boys. We'd run around and rub over them like we were cars and steer our little hands around and stuff. We, some of us that was really good at stuff, we'd grab the gravel with our toes when we went by and kick it up behind us with our feet. And we were pretty good with our toes. We could just throw a rock pretty good, especially behind us. And that was a lot of fun. And give a shot of the egg. I wonder if you can see what I scratched on there. I thought that was cool. I sat in it the other day and it came a big rainstorm and I was stuck in there for 20 minutes. But that's okay. I did make a couple more soirees to the shop and hauled over here the old 90 model truck and my 89 that I bought new. So it's sitting here, and I only got one more, my 79 that I bought new. And it ain't worth much, but I'm gonna bring it here anyway. What the heck? I've got land, might as well fill it up, scrap it and do whatever I can with it. But getting back on the kid thing, none of us wore shoes. We wore little much more than we had to. And most all of us had cutoffs. I was so skinny, you could just put me in one leg of the cutoffs and I could just wear one leg. Oh, the birds are pooping in here. Good gosh almighty, hallelujah. And I hope I can do this. Maybe I can do this. Is it going wide or not? Oh, see? Maybe that'll show something. I'm going to sit here on this box in this Volkswagen chair and tell you about the old days. All the neighbor kids, which was all cousins of mine, we'd scatter out like a bunch of wild Indians and you know, just have an adventurous day. At night I would read Tom Sawyer and all that other adventure stuff, and then I would get us into different ideas and different adventures that way. And little enough, my cousins and stuff would take my advice, which is always wrong, and they would go along with me, and we'd make plans, and they would do it. That's back when they got hurt, and I didn't. Now I don't have them around to give them my bad ideas, so I have to take care of the bad ideas myself, so I get hurt. So anyway, we'd run around with just little thin shorts on, and even the girls would run around shirtless, and it was completely acceptable for girls to run around with no shirt on up until the point that they started showing, and then they had to wear a shirt, and it was all right. Us boys didn't make fun of them. The girls was usually bigger than us. They beat the fire out of us, and the girls knowed more cuss words than us, but they were also smarter in school too, and I think that's the way it is now still. One of my biggest crushes, I was in 4th grade, and I always had learning problems because I see things inverted, and my mind does weird stuff, and of course I was too lazy to study too. But anyway, when I was in there, we got a girl in there. She moved in there from up north. Her name was Melody Anderson. The word Melody is just a beautiful name, and I was enamored over her. And she was a tall girl, and she had to wear, for the grade she was in, she was filling out like Annette Poligello on the Mickey Mouse Club. She was voluptuous, and she had the ice blue eyes, and I was crazy over her. And just about the time I got to tell her that I'm crazy over her, they moved off again. So there goes Melody Anderson. Melody, if you're listening to this, anyway, now I got a wife with ice blue eyes, and she's beautiful too. 50 years later, 49, I don't know. Time is a thief. I don't acknowledge it. And okay, I think that's what we did in school, and probably one of the worst offenses in school, besides puking in the hall. Then they got the little red sawdust out there, and the janitor would fill it up, was pulling the fire alarm. And in grade school, I don't think anybody but one person pulled the fire alarm in my tenure at that facility. And they told us that it had marking stuff on it where if you touched it, you would always be marked. You know, in case you did pull it, it would show up on your hands. They just have to catch you that way and stuff. But my last year at Glenview School, Glenview Junior High or whatever it was. It was a school up on a big tall hill, and it just sat on the pinnacle of a hill, and everything was angled. And the bus had to go up a real long driveway that was just steep as a cow's face. And a cow's face is pretty steep. And it would park up there, and the bus driver would sit up there and smoke or do whatever, drink whiskey, waiting for us kids to get out of school. Well, this ended up being my brother's first day of school, and he was going to, I think, kindergarten. I don't think they call it Head Start. We was in Illinois now, back up there, unfortunately. And it was his first day of school, so I was kind of tolling him around, being the big brother, and we sat 2 chairs behind the driver, and there were some girls sitting in front of us because they wanted to be the first off. And we all got on the bus, and the bus driver wasn't there. He was inside the school talking to somebody. I don't know what. He may have had a girlfriend or something in there. But anyway, he had this old bus backed up here on this steep slope, and he had it in gear, I guess. And emergency brake set, I reckon, or maybe not. And the prop girls, Stacy and Lori, was out bouncing around. They were trying to be cheerleaders and stuff, running up and down the aisle there. And the thing come unglued and started rolling off the hill. And we had, I don't know, 20-something little kids on there, including me and my little brother, my little towhead Sammy. And it was running off this big steep hill. And at the end of this big steep hill was a really bad place to be. And the girls was jumping out the side door, and nobody thought about getting the back door open. They were just all running to the side door and jumping off. And there's wheels right there. I mean, there's back wheels right there. And I don't know what kept them from getting run over, but there's about 4 girls jumped out the side door. And I got up, and I grabbed that burn bus, and I couldn't get it back in gear, and couldn't push the clutch down. I was a little feller, and the emergency brake was already pulled, but it wasn't doing nothing. So I steered it onto the bank of the school, and I didn't care if it turned over or not. That was the only place I could figure out how to do it. I steered it over on the bank, and we gradually come to a halt, at a pretty good slant too. I didn't care if it turned it over. That'd been really funny. But it halted up against the school steps. And the bus driver run out there, and the girls were picking themselves up out of there and stuff. And after that, just about 10 of the people's families that were on that bus gave me a free dinner. They brought me to their house and gave me a free dinner for stopping the bus. And that's pretty cool. Now, between then and now, I probably caused, all sorts of damage, but that was the one time where I thought halfway decent and saved my little brother and the rest of them vicariously. But I think that's my school story. And I was running around like tow-headed kids and breaking toenails on every rock you ever see, and grabbing the gravel with your feet and kicking them back, kicking that gravel up like a rooster tail or something behind there, and just having a heck of a bunch of fun with nothing, with no toys or nothing. My cousin Eugene, his sisters Irene and Arletta, they had some dolls. And they're plastic dolls, and they was about like this. And they were so proud of them things. And me and Eugene hated them, and we did awful ugly things to them poor little dolls. It wasn't their fault, but they caught all sorts of evil. And we'll talk about that some other day. Make sure that they don't hear this. Well, they're still bigger than me. They'll paddle my head. Okay, that's what's going on in today in Worms World. Don't forget, I love y'all, and y'all take care of each other. And insert something stupid that I would probably have said if I was thinking about it. I'm gonna go inside and have a Mountain Dew.